If you wonder why we're laughing, I just noticed that somebody was videotaping in the back. And I told Libby, well, if I knew they were going to videotape, I would have had you do your hair.
Welcome everyone to this wonderful concert. I, just returned from the hospital recently, but when I heard there was a mustard retreat going to be here, I had to find out what it's all about. It's mustard retreat. So you're all welcome.
It's all about the hair.
You're welcome anytime to come back. And in fact, as I invite you all to come back and visit us anytime. And I would like to introduce Becky Foster. And I have a few announcements. And
Okay, well, welcome to the folks who have not been here before. Welcome back to the folks who have been here before. We're glad to see these wonderful smiling faces. And just to give you a little bit of information, we sponsor these concerts 2 times a year, and we try to have a variety of music, a variety of performers. A year ago we had Matt Petrova, and he had us all singing along. Last spring we had Reverend Robert Jones, who had us clapping and stomping our feet. And I'm not sure what these folks are going to do for us, but I think it's going to be pretty cool. They performed all over the country to really good reviews, and I've seen several of their concerts over the years, and I've always enjoyed the time with them. So I just know we're going to have a very special evening. Now there are a couple of things that we need to clear. First of all, we will have a short intermission about 45 minutes into the concert to give people a chance to make a break for their bathrooms if they need it, but if they don't, then to sit here and we'll have a nice little conversation. The bathrooms, if you need them, are down the ramp and to the left, and our ushers will be back there to help you should you need to find your way. And please turn off your cell phones, or at least put them on stun, so that they don't interfere with the performance. And as someone noted, we're getting filming from the Oxford Community Television people, and we thank them gratefully for that. That's wonderful. We hadn't expected that. After the show, in our parish hall, we have a variety of sweet treats and water and punch, and just invite you to come back and have a little afterglow, and also have a chance to talk to the performers and maybe buy a CD. They'll tell you about that more later. And I think that just about covers it. Let's welcome the Students Retreat. Thank you.
I said, where should we put our CDs? And she said, oh, there's a table there. And then you can explain technology to the audience. So this is a song we've been doing as long as we've been singing together. Spring 1975, when we first started. This is our 50th year.
And we're still having fun.
I've got beggars on the trail, leaning in a ragged rail to hold me while I'm in again. If I'm thinking cold, find that mother low, I'll be back on again. You may know me when I've been blessed, and I give you a song, and I'm gone with the rest. Stay the place in the corner, leave the key and by the door, and I will leave in jubilation. He returning for some more. Bunch of faces froze across, long ago been frosted over, and it's unreal. When I doubt your mind, I'm pulled along by kind of a spirit, what it makes me feel. You may know me when I've been blessed, and I give you a song, and I'm gone with the rest. Take a place in the corner, leave a key here by the door, and I will leave in jubilation. We return for some more. Now I've got beggars on the trail, leaning around the rail and hold me one hand again. If I think it cold, find that mother Lord, I'll be here back again. You may know me when I've been blessed, and I give you a song, and I'm gone with the rest. Save a place in the corner, leave a key here by the door, we'll leave in jubilation. We return for some more. Oh.
Man who wrote that song, Richard Penny, I thanked him today on Facebook. I said, thank you for writing a song that I've sung on stage every night I've ever been on stage for 25, 50 years. Seems hard to believe.
So, how many people here still have grow any kind of vegetables?
We're in farmland people. Oh, yeah.
Any do any canning? Anybody do any canning?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know, this was not a good year for me in terms of time. I mean, we were really busy, and I was still working a regular job, so I didn't get a whole lot of time for my garden. In fact, I got a few raspberries. I was gone when the asparagus. The asparagus were big bushes by the time I got home. And I did plant. I got a 20-gallon pot of dirt and put one tomato plant in there. And I said, I'm going to get tomatoes this year. Came out and a woodchuck had eaten them.
I got
That's how it goes. But when I was young, living in my aunt's house, and in the basement of that house was a big, long wooden cabinet with glass doors. And one end of it, behind those glass doors, were about 50 jars of canned tomatoes. Nobody ever touched them. And I think they would have been canned for World War II. So, and every once in a while one would explode, but it would, but boy, as soon as I could, I started having a garden, and for a while I was canning things with my mother-in-law. It was just great. So here's a song by a man named Greg Brown, all about that. And every one of our songs is a sing-along tonight. Now, you don't have to sing the same song we're singing.
It helps.
But if you sing, that's good. This has a very easy chorus. It goes like this. I've got peaches on the shelf, potatoes in the bin. Supper's ready, everybody come on in now. Taste a little of the summer, you can taste taste a little of the summer. Taste a little of the summer. My grandma put it all in jars. All right, we'll just, well, now that you know it, we'll do it again. There's peaches on the shelf, potatoes in the bin. Summer's ready, everybody come on in now. Taste a little of the summer, you can taste a little of the summer. Taste a little of the summer, my grandma put it all in jars. There's a fruit cellar down below. Duck your head now, down you go. Peaches on the shelf, potatoes in the bin. Summer's ready, everybody come on in now. Taste a little of the summer, you can taste a little of the summer. Taste a little of the summer, my grandma put it all in jars. Well, maybe you're weary and you don't give a damn. I bet you never tasted her blackberry jam. Peaches on the shelf, potatoes in the bin. Summer's ready, everybody come on in now. Taste a little of the summer, you can taste a little of the summer. Taste a little of the summer, my grandma put it all in jars. She's got magic in her fingers, you know what I mean? She puts the sun and moon in with the green beans. Peaches on the shelf, potatoes in the bin. Summer's ready, everybody come on in now. Taste a little of the summer, taste a little of the summer. Taste a little of the summer, my grandma put it all in jars. When I go see my grandma, I gain a lot of weight. In her hand, she gives me plate after plate. She cans the pickles, sweet and dill, cans the songs of the whippoorwill, and the morning dew and the evening moon. And I've really gotta go see her pretty soon, 'cause these canned food you buy at the store, they ain't got the summer in them anymore. And you bet grandma, as sure as you're born, I'll take some more potatoes in a thunderstorm. Peaches on the shelf, potatoes in the bin. Summer's ready, everybody come on in now. Taste a little of the summer, you can taste a little of the summer. Taste a little of the summer, my grandma put it all in jars. So let those December winds billow and blow. I'm as warm as a July tomato. I've got peaches on the shelf,
Potatoes in the van.
summer's ready, everybody come on in now. Taste a little of the summer, you can taste a little of the summer. Taste a little of the summer, my grandma put it all in jars.
Just in time for this sing-along.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that was
Yeah, we noticed some people didn't warm up to that song and sing as loudly as they could, so we're going to do a simpler one. We have a friend who lives up in northern Wisconsin, off the grid. At night, they have a Victrola out on their screen porch, and they go out there and dance. And he wrote this song called the Barred Owl Waltz. The Barred Owl Waltz. I don't know if anybody knows what a barred owl says.
The call of the barred owl?
To be or not to be?
Not that barred. B-A-R-R-E-D, barred.
Yes. They say, who cooks for you?
Try it. Who cooks for you? Better, one more time. Who cooks for you? Oh, you got it now.
That is your part. Yeah, a friend is named Pat Wiley who wrote this. Out on the front porch, under the stars, far from the city lights, noise in the cars, with the crickets and the tree frogs and the whippoorwill calls, we dance to the barred owl waltz. Here we go. for you. That's what the barn owl says. What works for you? It's a mighty woods serenade. What works for you? We echo their call as we dance to the barn owl waltz. Well, we seldom see them, but we know when they're there, for their voices drift sweetly on the cool forest air, through an ocean of trees, to our front porch dance hall, where we sway to the barn owl waltz. Who works for you? That's what the barn owl said. Who works for you? It's a mighty woods serenade. Who works for you? We echo their call as we dance through the barn owl waltz. Well, they ask the same question of us every night. Can it be they've grown tired of eating raw mice? Maybe we should invite them to our next barbecue. They can dance to the barn owl too. What cooks for you? That's what the barn owl said. What cooks for you? It's a piney wood serenade. What cooks for you? We echo their call as we dance to the barn owl waltz. Who cooks for you? Who cooks for you all? That's the southern part.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, so now we've got even a simpler song to do. A chorus song. We spend a lot of time. Libby lives in Adrian. I live in Ann Arbor. We like playing in the Midwest a lot. Yeah. But this song is written by friends of ours from Wisconsin again, Peter and Lou Berrigan. Michigan is pretty exotic as we travel around the country. Most people will never get here, and we say, this is where we live. And then there's this. UP. And now UP is really exotic, and we like telling stories about it that may or may not be true, because you never let the truth get in the way of a good story. And
3 chords of the truth forever.
so this is the song that we tell them there's a language barrier when you go to the UP. See, you guys
Yes, you understand.
Well, now we got somebody from the UP here, right? We got several somebody, so you be careful.
Oh, no, this is an all reverence.
So this is your earworm for the night.
This was a public service announcement for people who are unaware of the dialect that takes place when you're talking to a Uber. And so we try to let other people from other parts of the country, this is a service we do for them.
Hope you don't mind when an old man sings. Helps me to keep my mind on things. When I go where the animals thrive, I sing this song on the treacherous drive.
Dear, 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 dear,
dear, dear, dear, dear, dear, dear, everywhere. That's your part. Dear, 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 everywhere. At dawn in fields and coniferous groves, bucks and does come alive in droves. Just when you think that the coast is clear, daring the road is the white-tailed deer. Deer, 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 everywhere. Deer, 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 everywhere. In venison land, as the day goes by, deer lay low while the sun is high. Sun goes down, night grows near, twilight brings out the white-tailed deer. Deer, 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 everywhere. Deer, 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 everywhere. Bucks bed down where the tall grass grows. Fawn state does when the doe does does there, does here, and does in the habits of the white-tailed deer. Deer, 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 everywhere. Deer, 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 everywhere.
I grew up in Connecticut. I came up to school in '72 to go to U of M and stayed. And there was a big music festival in Connecticut called the Mystic Seaport Sea Music Festival. I don't know how many people have been to Mystic. It's kind of like Greenfield Village on Long Island Sound. It's a beautiful place. And I used to go there when I was a kid. It was about 40 minutes from home. And they called me up one year and they said, we would like Mustard's Retreat to come play at the Sea Music Festival. I was thrilled, but I said, we don't do so many sea shanties anymore. They said, no, you're from Michigan, you're exotic. Literally. We want you to sing songs about lakes and streams and rivers and puddles and rain in that condescending New England way, which I can say because I'm from there. People in Mystic, they have like bachelor degree doctorate degrees in folk music. They know every folk song, who recorded what, who changed it, different variations. It's kind of intimidating because they know it all. So I decided I had to write a song that they didn't know that sounded like a folk song. So this is it, because I grew up in a town called Branford, Connecticut. Branford is about 100 miles east of New York City, 10 miles east of New Haven. And there's a chain of islands there called the Thimble Islands. And it's said that in the 1690s, Captain Kidd hung out there for a couple of months. And there's all these rumors about his buried treasure. So when I was a kid, we used to go looking. People still come. And this is a song. This is a song about that. And I'll give you another little clue. So what do pirates do when they bury a treasure? How do they protect it?
Booty. Oh, well, bones.
Balls. That's right. Somebody has to die to be left there to protect the treasure. And that's what happened to one of my cousins as he served with Captain Kidd. Now, this could be a true story, but I wouldn't have bet money on it. Oh, my name was George Lindsley. I lived here long ago. My father was a lobsterman out of Lanfear's Cove. From Brentford up to Satram's Head, for oysters and for clams, till a British frigate caught us. And I was a pressed man. The year was 1694. The kingship came around and boarded father's fishing boat out on Long Island Sound. The boatswain said, here's a fine lad, we'll take him on board. Now you're in the service of the king and the articles of war. Heave away, Johnny, steady as she goes. Heave away, boys, let her go. Well, I was young and reckless, and I wanted liberty. And the service of the kingship is one step from slavery. We captured a French smuggler out on the open sea. The captain needed to pry his crew off, that included me. But we were taken off Montauk Point as the wind began to lag. On a swiftly well-armed sloop of war that hoisted the black flag. The pirates gave us all the choice, sink or join their crew. I never gave half a thought about what I would do. Heave away, Johnnies, steady as she goes. Heave away, boys, and let her go. Heave away, Johnnies, steady as she goes. Heave away, boys, and let her go. Well, we sailed halfway around the world, which was just fine with me. We were 100 men but brothers in a crude democracy. Pirates lived for freedom, both ashore and afloat, and we each got an equal share, every man a vote. Now, I'm not going to tell you all the things we did, and I'll reveal that my last duty was I sailed with Captain Kidd. We buried his old treasure but with bones, it had no other. So we all cast lots, and in the end it was me who had to die. Keep away, journeys, steady as she goes. Keep away, boys, and let her go. For 300 years now, this has been my fate. To roam these nimble islands and keep watch on this place. If the treasures found, my freedom's gained. On a wild spree, I'll devour. But my heart will always bring me home to these islands on the sky. Every decade now I toss some silver out into the tide. Summer people come and search, sometimes they will find. It amuses me to watch them work, it preserves the mystery. And I like their jokes and laughter and enjoy the company. Keep away, journeys, steady as she goes. Keep away, boys, and let her go. Keep away, journeys, steady as she goes. Keep away, boys, let her go. Well, my dad's parents migrated to Brantford about 1910. They were from Lithuania. Got any Lithuanian background here?
Latvians, Balkan, okay, sorry.
So, they moved in part because they didn't want family members drafted into the Tsar's army. And one of my aunts was going to get married, and they were sitting, her bride, her husband to be, was actually like a National Guard there. They were sitting in the local armory one night, and they'd had too much to drink, and there was a picture of the Tsar on the wall, and he made some kind of crack about it. And the next day, he was marched off to Siberia. That's the last thing I saw him. Lithuania was always a big thing. I think in all immigrant families, I mean, we're all immigrants here, and Lithuania was always a big thing in my family. And I found out that they lost contact with the family in like 1937. And nobody knew if anybody was still alive. That's about when the Germans had a pact with the Russians, and the Germans took Poland, and the Russians took the Baltic countries. And so after my grandmother died, we had a chance to go back to tour there in 2011. And among my grandmother's effects were a partial letter written in Old Lithuanian, like the second and third page of a letter. Nobody knew what it said. And there was her passport, and then there was a postal money order. You get a money order, you get those little green stubs. And it was a money order for $15, marked from 1937. And I went to the Balzika Center in Chicago, a museum and heritage center, and they said, yep, this letter is from your great-great-grandfather to your grandfather, and it says, greetings from your brother and his wife and the kids, and named everybody there. And then they said the money order, this word on this money order is a name of a village in Lithuania. And here's a sheet of paper with 20 people who have your name who live in the area there, which was extraordinary. So I wrote a letter, they translated it, I sent it out, and 2 weeks later I heard back from a woman. She was a doctor in Vilnius, the capital, and she said, that letter, that's my mom listed in that letter when she was a kid. And that, so, you know, so it was tremendous, lots of wonderful stories because we had a week-long tour over there, but they gave us a day off to go visit relatives. And I was, you know, yes, so many amazing things, but the thing I found out was that when my cousin, whose name is Denute, the doctrine of illness, when she was 6 days old, the Russians threw her and her family on cattle cars, along with about 100,000 other Lithuanians and lots of other Eastern Europeans, and shipped them out to Siberia. And because they wanted their farm for, you know, to move ethnic Russians in. So they were out there for about 8 or 9 years, and they were fortunate to, after Stalin died, they got to come back to Lithuania. They were penniless, but her dad had held on to the deed for the farm all those years in Siberia. It's amazing. And so they were able to petition and finally get their farm. So, but you know, I hear stories like this from Lithuanians I meet, and everywhere over in Lithuania, everybody has got family. Everybody was affected by this, and I asked Danute's mom. She was 93. She was about this big, and I asked her. I thought there would be a lot of anger towards the Russians, and she said, "You couldn't afford to be angry. It took everything in you to stay alive. You know, so there was no room for anger," and which I thought was remarkable. But the thing that kept people alive, who managed to survive, I found it was love of country, love of family, love of culture, home, you know, and I wanted to write a song about it for about a year. I couldn't figure out how to do it. And then I heard an NPR piece where a research team went out to Siberia to investigate this phenomenon that when it's 50 degrees below zero or colder, the words freeze as they come out of your mouth. The water vapor freezes instantly into crystals, and the crystals fall to the ground. And if you're quiet, you can hear those crystals hitting against each other. And they sort of sound like bells. And it's and they call that the whisper of the stars. The whisper of the stars. So that's what the name of the song is. The loneliness and cold here are profound. Words stumble from your lips, freeze, tumble to the ground. They chime like bells, immediate yet far. It's known here as the whisper of the stars. Lost in evening's quiet, it's the only time I'm free. And I remember thoughts I treasure, how things used to be. I don't think about tomorrow, I just think on where you are. And hear the song that my heart sings in the whisper of the stars. In the railway yards of Vilnius that spring day, torn from your embrace and shipped away. But love itself is gold, still its own reward. And I remember in the whisper of the stars. Bright and cold this morning, I look forward to day's end. when I will find those moments to be with you once again. Your eyes told me all my heart needed to know, and I hold that image close in the candle glow. I speak your name aloud across the night, and in the whisper of the stars, it's nearly right. Where time, soul, and spirit will unwind in the vastness here among the lakes and pine. But in the whisper of the stars I find it's true. There's no distance between me and you. Can't think about tomorrow, I just think on where you are. And hear the song that my heart sings in the whisper of the stars. Hear the song that my heart sings in the whisper of the stars.
Abby. Oh, we're not gonna do that song.
So this is a song I wrote before going to Lithuania, but I had it in mind. And we translated, or we got the last verse translated into Lithuanian. We'll do that in time as well.
Sing along.
Oh, yeah.
Gather the family, here we belong, and a welcome good stranger come in. Our voices together all singing one song, and it's here that the future begins. Our ancestors came from away, far away, from 1,000 traditions and kin. What we all share together as we stand here today, with a chance to start over again. Gather the family, here we belong, and welcome good stranger come in. Our voices together all singing one song, and it's here that the future begins. Our measure of worth's not in power of gold, the greatest truth comes from the heart, and it's how we take care of the weak and the old. This is the place we can start. Gather the family, here we belong, and welcome good stranger come in. Our voices together all singing one song, and it's here that the future begins. And so like a forest our roots hold the past, while our branches reach into the sky. Let our gift to our children be family that lasts, and a future to which they can fly. Gather the family, here we belong, and welcome good stranger come in. Our voices together all singing one song, it's here that the future begins. Susiporkiani Shema, Chamusu Vieta, setting is brave and shade. Lick-a-wan anonymous, Vienna, take the sprasity badger. And your Lithuanian word for the night is ačiū, not ačiū, but ačiū, which means thank you. Ačiū. So when we were going over to Lithuania, we flew into Copenhagen in Denmark, and then got a switch planes and went to Vilnius. And probably all know, Norway, Finland, Sweden, all kind of long countries. The southern end are in the Baltic Ocean, and then you go around the eastern end, and there's Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. So Helsinki is down at the southern end of Finland, like almost in the Baltic Ocean. And it's long and narrow. And so there was a morning DJ. It's kind of like AM radio is here. It was about 6 in the morning, and he comes on. Hi, everybody, this is Sven. You're listening to Radio Helsinki from the Baltic to the Arctic. You having a good day today? He's kind of going on obnoxiously. And he said, you know what? We hear that it's really cold up north, that it's 50 degrees below zero. And we're going to find out if that's true. And I'm going to pick somebody at random and call them. And say, so he did. He got this old woman up there, and he said, hey, this is Sven from Radio Helsinki. And she said, hello, Sven. Yeah.
Sven as well.
This is Sven as well, right? And he goes, yeah, we hear it's really cold up there. Can you tell us how cold it is? And she goes, well, let me go check the thermometer. And so she goes away and she comes back and she said, Sven, it's 15 degrees below zero. And Sven is kind of incredulous. She said, no, can you go check that again? We hear that it's 50 degrees below zero. And she laughed and she said, oh, you mean outside? They didn't know what to make of that joke in Richmond, Virginia.
So we get to do a lot of shows with Peter Yarrow, from Peter, Paul, and Mary. And it's always an honor and a thrill. And if you ever get a chance to see him, he's just as inspiring as ever. And he's just amazing. He's amazing.
Okay, so we want to make sure,
What are you doing?
I'm just checking time.
Oh, you don't want to do this?
I think I don't want to do this.
Okay.
Because
you talk.
I was thinking one more and then
Okay, one more. Okay. Now we can.
now that's a problem. All right, so we'll do Simple Faith. So I wrote this song after the 2004
And
presidential
I'd like
election.
to say that Peter Yarrow loves this song. Peter joins us and does this song with us when we're on stage because it was the last song that Peter, Paul, and Mary were going to record before Mary passed away. They were in rehearsal. So this song, Simple Faith, means a lot to us. And I know it means a lot to Peter.
Yeah, so
Okay, now you go ahead. I just wanted to fit Peter in there, so I'm foolish.
So it was the middle of November, and there was just a lot of despair about the election and the politics. And I thought, well, politics has gotten so ugly, how is it ever going to get any worse? I'd rather be a naive optimist, but I was feeling pretty bad, and I thought, at least in this community, we now consider you all family. You may not want us as family. We consider you all family here because there is a lot of common ground. In fact, there's more common ground among us than there are differences, no matter what the people getting paid millions of dollars on radio and TV tell us. So I wrote this, wanted to write this song, and we're going to Lexington, Michigan, to play over Thanksgiving. They have a great folk music society, the Blue Water Folk Music Society, and so I finished this song and we did it up there. So this has a great chorus, and it goes, ours is a simple faith. Life is a short embrace. Heaven is in this place every day. Hope is the ground we till Make each day what you will. Thankful for dreams fulfilled every day. Ours is a simple faith. Life is a short embrace. Heaven is in this place every day. Hope is the ground we till. Make each day what you will. Thankful for dreams fulfilled every day. No room in this heart for fear. No judgment day drawing near. Trust that inner voice you hear every day. Life's not a goal or race. It's about heart and faith and living a life of grace every day. Ours is a simple faith. Life is a short embrace. Heaven is in this place every day. Hope is the ground we till. Make each day what you will. Thankful for dreams fulfilled every day. Trust is an open hand, taking an honest stand, rooted here in the land every day. Living the mystery, seeing the harmony here between you and me every day. Ours is a simple faith. Life is a short embrace. Heaven is in this place every day. Hope is the ground we till. Make each day what you will. Thankful for dreams fulfilled. Dreams fulfilled. Thank you for dreams fulfilled every day. So we have students in there. There are. We'll teach you the technology if you need them. They're $10 a piece, 3 for $25. The marbles are free. I go down to West Virginia and make marbles twice a year with a group of people. We'll go down next week, and these are some that we've made in the last couple of years, and they're free. If you would like to take any.
Jack, could you get a couple bottles of water, or somebody get a couple bottles of water for our folks? Okay, so if those who might need a break, go out those doors and down the ramp, and somebody will help you get to the restrooms. But it's only a 10 to 15 minute break, and we have something that we would like to ask you to do. And I'm going to copy here to tell you all about that.
Yes, thank you so much for coming tonight. This is the kind of music we like to share with anyone who can make it out to St. John's. And in an attempt to better reach people who want to be here, we are hoping you wouldn't mind filling out your email address for us with your name. And we promise it will only go to sending out your twice yearly concert announcements. If you're here to help us, we greatly appreciate it.
Suppose I want your Facebook, we're in it every single day.
wonderful.
So that was a really push out on that. That's good to know.
And
That's good to know, because we're never sure. Yeah.
I want to give a big thank you to OCTV in Oxford too. They are here filming tonight, and they always put a spot on for us as well. So there are sources.
Yeah, all the way from Oxford, I mean, gosh. So we've got clipboards turned up in the front, clipboards in the back, when they meet in the middle, just leave them in the pew. We'll collect those later on. But I'd also like to ask you, when you leave, there's a collection plate by the door, and if you wouldn't mind making a donation. The donations help us a little bit cover the cost here, but most of that money goes to our high school outreach, or our school outreach program, because we're now working with elementary schools as well. So we're working with Dryden High School and the Elmont High School, the elementary school here in Dryden, and then we have a member who is a teacher at grade school in Imlay City. And so we try to get things for them. And so we get school supplies, we do coat drives, we do help with the expenses for prom, graduation parties. And once in a while, someone wants to go to summer camp. That hasn't happened much lately, but we've been trying to find ways that we can help the kids. So we'd really appreciate that if you would help us out with that. And you might notice in your programs there's a QR code there. So for those of you who already know about CDs, but might know actually how to do QR codes with your smartphones, you can do a PayPal donation like that. Okay, that's what we have. So take a few minutes, relax. After the program concludes, please join us in the parish hall because we all made way too much stuff to take home. And we're hoping you'll help us out with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All you Episcopalians, the Lord be with you. Thank
Whoa, no, that was effective.
you. Okay, so now I hope you're having a really good time. We have a little more music to hear, and then it's time for the goodies. So just enjoy the rest of the evening.
Well, back in the student days, didn't have much money, but you know, it gets to be February in Michigan, early March, and you just kind of got cabin fever. So this is a song. I take it personally. It's written by Jim Beiser, a friend of ours. You know, you can't do this in any other state except Michigan. They just don't get it. You know? I'm heading down south, way down south. I'm going to find me some wide open spaces, my view embraces, lay of the land. This Michigan man is often searching exotic places. I'd go to Florida, but it's too far. I'm driving my car, ain't gonna fly over, and that is why I'm going to Ohio. Ohio, don't you know, O-H-I-O. Here we go.
Here we go, O-H-I-O.
Now some folks travel near and far to Istanbul or to Cape Town.
Ooh la la.
Let them be as they may. Half a day away, it's far enough for me. My restless heart is full of wonder for the land down under the clouds of fire. In the blue sky, oh, up above Ohio. Ohio, don't you know? O-H-I-O. Ohio, here we go.
Ah, here we go, O-H-I-O.
way down below.
Way down below each other.
Sing sweet and low.
Sing sweet and low each other. Sing Defiantly.
Oh, child, can't sing no more. Oh, child.
Yeah, if you're in New York, I can't easily plug another state in there. I would say down to New Jersey, and I probably would get that. So anybody know where Rhinelander, Wisconsin is?
Yes.
Yes, favorite place. Our first tour out of Michigan, we were very excited. We had a big 3-day tour. It was Kenosha, Wisconsin, which is south of Milwaukee. And that was the first day. The last day was La Crosse over on the Mississippi. And the second day was Rhinelander, almost up into the UP. And I called up the week before. I was trying to be so good and professional at this. I called up and said, hey, we're coming, just want to advance the show. And they said, oh, we've made a terrible mistake. We have booked you on the same night as the town's annual potluck and dance. And nobody will be there, not even the people producing the concert. And I was crushed, and they took a pity on us, and they said, well, you can come sing between the potluck and the dance, and we'll pay for that. We said, welcome to the folk circuit. We'll go. But it was a tremendous, we always, we were very successful in the bars in the 70s and early 80s because we weren't doing what everybody else was doing. And we're basically doing what we do now. And so the bars were full, but the people drank mostly coffee and Coca-Cola. So it didn't generate a whole lot of revenue the way the bars wanted to. But we always knew that we just wanted to play concerts, play for this community. I mean, this is our community of choice. So this is a song we wrote after that night in Rhinelander. There's a dance tonight underneath the harvest moon. No one, won't you come along with me? Your folks will watch the kids. We can't dance the way we did back when you were shy and I was 23. You were a lovely sight to see, dancing every dance with me. And that cotton dress you wear, that's the flowers in your hair. And there's magic in the night, when the moon shines so bright. Oh, won't you come along with me? Up and glory back again, the long time lovers, best of friends, through the changes and the years we have remained. And what will spark is now aglow, waiting only for that to blow, and light kindle once again into the flame. Summer leans into the fall, full of stories to recall. Apple wine and northern wind, in the company of friends, and the music fine and sweet, with the heat from all our feet, and remember times we'll never see again. And there's dance tonight underneath the harvest moon. Oh, won't you come along with me? Your folks will watch the kids. We can't dance the way we did back when you were shy and I was just 23. You were a lovely sight to see, dancing every dance with me. And that cotton dress you wear, that's the flowers in your hair. And there's a magic
in the night, with love shining so bright. Oh, honey, won't you come along with me?
So this summer, we were playing out in central Maine in a place called Weld, Maine. We had a day off and the promoter said, you know, if you drive about 45 minutes, there's the Maine Gem and Mineral Museum. And we thought, well, we've got the day off, let's go. And it was pretty extraordinary, but up on the third floor, it has the world's largest collection of meteors and space rocks from the moon and from Mars. And the guy who founded the museum 30 years ago was doing a tour that day. And it was extraordinary. But to me, the most extraordinary thing, he told this story. He said, when the universe began with the Big Bang, it made all these stars that were made of hydrogen and helium. And that's all that there was. But the stars would live out their lives, millions of years, and then explode, as they do, become white dwarfs, and then they explode. And a chunk of one star, the chunks of stars would hit each other. And a chunk from one star hit a chunk of another star. But when that happens, it forms all the other elements. I mean, it seems like a mystery to me. I was telling this at my mom's this summer, and my brother-in-law goes, "Oh yeah, everybody knows that." So it formed all the elements, a whole periodic table of elements, plus the precursors to organic matter. And when that star that formed exploded, a chunk of it fell into the Pacific Ocean, and that is it needed that body of water, and it produced all life on this planet. And
if it hadn't hit in the water, and if it would have been 100 years difference in time.
Yeah,
we wouldn't be sitting.
Two pieces of stars had hit each other for 100 years, and never would have happened.
So
but it hit, and we got to touch this meteor. I mean, it was an emotional moment there. All this meteor that was millions of years old.
We were one.
It was great. So
let's all coming to this song, which is Evolution, written by Dave Carter in 4 verses. And I call it a happy cell song because my cells get very excited remembering like crawling out of the ocean. I just think that.
she is a joy to travel with.
So refreshing. I feel this is my mind gets excited during this song because it's about evolution. That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
And the whole thing is this guy was saying about this meteor. He goes, and none of this, all the science, it doesn't disprove whatever religion is here. It all can coexist. It's just the embodiment of whatever God's plan was. This is how it was done, or at least this is part of it. But it was amazing. And this song is Dave Carter's take on evolution in 4 verses. So,
forgive me if I get excited.
On the sleepy, endless ocean, when the world lay in a dream, there was rhythm in the splash and roll, but not a voice to sing. So the moon fell on the breakers, and the morning warmed the waves, till a single cell did jump and hum with joy, as though to say, "This is my home.
This
This is my only home. This is the only sacred ground I have ever known. Should I stray in the dark night alone, rock me goddess in the gentle arms of Eden.
Then the day shone bright and around her, and the one turned into two, and the two into 10,000 things, an old thing to the new.
And on some virgin beach at one lonesome critter crawl,
And he looked back, shouted out his most astonished troll.
this is my home. This is my only home. This is the only sacred ground that I have ever known. Just a ray in the dark night alone, rock me goddess in the gentle arms of Eden.
Then all the sky was buzzing, and the ground was carpet green, and the weary children of the woods went dancing in between. And the people sang, rejoicing when their fields were glad with grain, the song of celebration from their cities on the plain.
This is my home. This is my only home. This is the only sacred ground that I have ever known. Just a ray in the dark night alone, rock me goddess in the gentle arms of Eden.
Now there's smoke across the harbor, and there's factories on the shore, and the world is ill with greed and will and enterprise of war.
But I will lay my burdens in the cradle of your grace,
And the shining beaches of your love,
and the sea of your embrace. This is my home. This is my only home. This is the only sacred ground that I have ever known. Just a ray in the dark night alone, rock me goddess in the gentle arms of Eden. And this is my home. This is my only home. This is the only sacred ground that I have ever known. Just a ray in the dark night alone, rock me goddess in the gentle arms of Eden. Rock me goddess in the gentle arms of Eden. Make 'em cry, Davy. Make 'em cry.
well,
This is a David Tamulevich song. It's one of my favorite songs that he ever wrote. And he's written a few. I hired David for his first gig, by the way. He was auditioning. He'd never auditioned for a gig before. I was his first audition.
first audition. I don't know if anybody knows the old Heidelberg on North Main Street in Ann Arbor.
I was the second bartender when Fritz built the building at 215 North Main. And he said, well, let me take auditions for the Rathskeller music. And so I did. He did too. We both. And then in walks this guy.
It's kind of the ignorance of youth, you know. I had been there New Year's Eve with some friends, and there was somebody up on stage playing, in retrospect, who was very good. And they said, oh, you can do better than that. Audition, audition. So, you know, 3rd of January, I was in there, and I auditioned.
And Fritz Kokendorfer said, well, what do you think? You know, you're the musician, what do you think? And he was cute, and he played good guitar, and he was playing all the favorite songs that everybody wanted to hear. So we took a chance on him. We didn't pay him that much money, but.
Yeah, it was 5
was
nights a
in
week.
charge.
I was still working, I would cook all day. It was 5 nights a week, 4 hours a night, $25 a night. But it was for 2 months. So I could buy a sound system and microphones and get a lot of experience. But almost every night, Libby would come up from behind the bar. One of the people from upstairs would come down, and she'd come sing with me wearing her girdle or lederhosen.
So stylish.
But this song is about, we've all been kids. Kids just have they all have just different, totally different lives, different challenges. And the thing about childhood, you don't have any experience to fall back on. You're just kind of learning it all for the first time. And there's of course a lot of childhood trauma of many kinds. And this is a song that's you just hope for kids that they find a little piece of grace, that something comes along to help them along. And I want to dedicate this to the tens of thousands of children from Ukraine who are being taken into Russia and just disappearing. Nobody knows what's happening to them. And actually having relatives who've gone through the camps in Siberia, you hate to think about it, but in the heart of winter, the year I turned 10, my father he took sick and died. With a scratchy old farm, 6 kids, mean times, Mama fought pretty hard to get by. Spring was turned into summer when a man came traveling through. Said he'd work till the harvest was all stored away, and that meals in a room it would do. It was that or the banks, so my mom signed him on. His name was Jeremy Brown. On the front porch we gathered when dinner was done, and the evening was settling down. And he'd tell us his stories of traveling, sing of old friends and places he'd been. And he mended our hearts on those long summer nights, taught me to smile once again. He'd sing, there's a time and a place for goodbyes. It's a sad and a sweet thing to cry. Yes, to cry, how I've cried. But the answers they'll come by and by. He worked hard as 2 men, was quick with a grin, though a distance remained in his eyes. And he never did say why he took to the road, but we knew well enough not to pry. But he understood how I was feeling, or at least to me, that's how it seemed. And late in the night, as I lay in my bed, his songs, they run through my dreams, singing, there's a time and a place for lies. It's a sad, sweet thing to cry. Yes, to cry, how I've cried. But the answers, they'll come by and by. October came, the last corn was in, and Jeremy packed up to go. Heading down the south was about all he would say. If he'd be back, he just didn't know. But I think that I knew as he held me, when somehow I could smile through the tears, that if I need a friend, I would find him again in the song that I've sung all these years. I sing, there's a time and a place for goodbyes. It's a cry? Yes, to cry, how I cry. And the answers, they've come by and by. There's a time and a place for goodbyes. It's a sad and sweet thing to cry. Yes, to cry, how I've cried. And the answers, they've come by and by.
To what?
Do Muffet first.
Yeah.
So, we're kind of eclectic in our taste, which I think everybody is. Everybody has their own taste. But I like to find, like, you can only describe them as strange things from the past. I like being part of the chain. So, but this song, or no, it's a poem. It's a poet written by a newspaper man in New York. His name was Guy Wetmore Carroll, and he wrote this in about 1916. And it's I think he was the originator of the fractured fairy tale, because he liked to take fairy tales and give them a twist. So this is one called The Embarrassing Episode of Little Miss Muffet. Now, Little Miss Muffet discovered a tuffet, which hadn't occurred to the rest of us. And as it was a June day, and just about noonday, she wanted to eat like the best of us. Her diet was whey, and I hasten to say it is wholesome, and people grow fat on it. The spot being lonely, the lady not only discovered the tuffet, but sat on it. A rivulet gabbled beside her and babbled, as rivulets always are thought to do. And dragonflies sported around and cavorted, as poets say dragonflies ought to do. When glancing aside for a moment, she spied a horrible sight that brought fear to her. A hideous spider was sitting beside her, and most unavoidably near to her. Albeit unsightly, the creature politely said, "Madam, I earnestly vow to you, I'm penitent that I did not bring my hat. I should otherwise certainly bow to you." Though eager to please, he was so ill at ease that he lost all his sense of propriety and grew so inept that he clumsily stepped in her plate, which is barred in society. This curious error completed her terror. She shuddered, and growing much paler, not only left Tuffet, but dealt him a buffet, which doubled him up in a sailor's knot. Now it should be explained that at this he was pained. He cried, "I have vexed you, no doubt. Your fists like a truncheon. You're still in my luncheon," was all that she answered. "Get out!" The moral is this: be it madam or miss, to whom you have something to say. It is only absurd if you get in the curd, but it's rude if you get
In the way.
That's a long way to go to get that in line.
You're right on it too. I'm going to do this next song by a man named Eric Von Schmidt, who lived on Siesta Key, Sarasota, Florida, where I first hit town in 1972. In 1970, I'd gotten an album signed by Eric Von Schmidt. It said for Libby Glover, 1170, Eric Von Schmidt. He was part of the Cambridge, Boston area folk era, right after the Beats and before hippies. And he was kind of like the old codger of them. He was kind of a gruff sort, but anyway, it was New Year's Day. My boyfriend had gone, knocked on his door, knocked and knocked and knocked, and finally Eric came down dripping wet out of the shower in a towel and he signed this album for me in 1970. So when I graduated from high school, Flint Southwestern, go Colts, class of 71, I looked him up when I was down there, and talk about cheeky youth. I said, do you happen to remember writing an autograph for an album on New Year's Day dripping wet? And he said, well, of course. So anyway, I did get a chance to meet him. He was very nice to me. I was very young. And when I moved to Sarasota, he would come and listen to us sing. And this is a song that's my favorite Eric von Schmidt tune of all time. It's also the shortest. It's called 3 Mules. Well, I drove 3 mules for George McVeigh. Drove them 3 mules on a chain, and the 9 one's Junior, the middle one's Jane. The one out on the stick, he didn't have no name. Well, let me tell you about George McVeigh. George McVeigh was half insane. 2 had 3 mules and just 2 names. That's all I remember about George McVeigh. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're going to do a couple more. 1970, I graduated from high school.
Oh, yes.
I went back for the 10th reunion, and all the people I wanted to see weren't there. All the people I didn't want to see were there. And they were all the same. I think 10 years was not enough. So,
I'd like to say that Flint Southwestern, class of 71, go Colts. We keep together, we do lunches, we find a place in Flint that's surrounded, in our surrounding area, and we all try to meet up. And my other friendly alumni, Dan Crawford, is in the house tonight from Sarasota. Dan and I sang together all through high school, and it's a joy to have him here to see my show tonight. So this song is written by John Gorka.
yeah, so it came, I never went to another reunion. It got to be the 50th, and of course it was COVID. So they moved it to 2021, they moved it to 2022. I couldn't go. But somebody sent me a picture, and there were about 75 people in that picture, and I looked at it, I said, who are these people? I didn't recognize, I recognized 2 of them, but those 2 I've been in touch with. So. But this is a song by John Gorka about a high school reunion. No, I didn't drink. I didn't sleep a wink. Last night, I went back in time. There was a party, the reunion kind. The boys were all in ties. Some were in disguise. The hairlines and the frames of men were not as I remembered them. It didn't matter much that we never kept in touch. Talk of work filled the in-between, back to the time when we were 17. Here's to faded blue and gold, and here's to you, my friends. We're all right now, we're all right then, we'll be all right again. There was a book of names and pictures of the same, and I saw
familiar ones among the names that are forever gone. And time had not undone the girls I had crushes on, though all of them are married now. Found my heart was working anyhow. I laughed and reminisced with the girls I never kissed. The school years were not all misspent, and the good times were no accident. Here's the girls who danced with me, who never did back then. You made my night when you held me tight, and you stayed until the end. Here's the faded blue and gold, and here's to you, my friends. We're all right now, we're all right then, we'll be all right again. We're all right now, we're all right then, we'll be all right again.
So like I was saying earlier, we get to do a lot of songs with Peter Yarrow. And this is always a thrilling one to sing with him.
Yes, Peter Paul and Mary did not sing it like this, but this is how we sing it.
Well, there's a Davy groove. Davy put a groove in it. Did you get it?
Of course, this is a sing-along. If I had a hand, I'd hammer in the morning, I'd hammer in the evening, all over this land. I'd hammer out danger, I'd hammer out the morning, I'd hammer out love between my brothers and my sisters. If I had a bell, I'd ring it in the morning, I'd ring it in the evening, all over this land. I'd ring out danger, I'd ring out warning, I'd ring out love between my brothers and my sisters. And if I had a song, I'd sing it in the morning, I'd sing it in the evening, all over this land. I'd sing out of danger, I'd sing out of warning, I'd sing out of love between my brothers and my sisters. Now I've got a hammer and I've got a bell, I've got a song to sing all over this land. Is there
It's the hammer of justice. It's the bell of freedom. It's the song of love between brothers and sisters. All over this land. All over this land. All over this land.
We've now got a whole nother set of songs we'd like to do for you. But we think it's time to get you out to your just rewards. So thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thanks for having us into your church. And really thank all of you. You can find us on Facebook is the easiest way to keep track of us. And we, like I said, we've done over 50 shows this year.
And we do Zoom concerts. If you want live Busters Retreat, look us up on YouTube. We have some incredibly wonderful Zoom concerts and a new Zoom coming up in October. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
So join us. Yes, Mom.
I just got one question. Mustard tree. How did you
Yeah, that's right. So, now, when I first came to Michigan, Ann Arbor, I worked at the undergraduate library. And I was just learning to play guitar, and my supervisor there was a woman named Nancy Mustard, and she played guitar ninja. And she showed me how to do this little slide on the guitar I'd never seen before. And I went home, I wrote this instrumental, and I thought, what am I going to name this? Well, there's an old flute called Bonaparte's Retreat. And so I thought, I'll just name it Mustard Retreat. And so I did it and forgot about it. And 3 years later, we were trying to come up with a name for a band, and we came up with horrible puns and jokes. And finally, I said, why don't we name it Mustard Retreat? You know, we had to get this poster out. and so 50 years later, here we are.
Thank you so much. Well, I was going to just do Root and Rain because they might sing.
Okay.
This is an acapella David wrote a few years ago. It's just got a lovely feel to it.
Winter in the earth in winter's shadow, knowing spring is drawing near, keeping faith with summer's promise and the turning of the year, and sing for the moon, sing for the sun, sing for the joy when day is done. Oh, sing for the moon, sing for the sun, sing for the joy when day is done. A simple pleasure, planting gardens, picking stone and pulling weeds, a space beyond the rush and clatter, finding something that we need, and sing for the moon, sing for the sun, sing for the joy when day is done. Oh, sing for the moon, sing for the sun, sing for the joy when day is done. Mystery's not quite forgotten, something that we now reclaim down through countless generations. Wind and fire, roots and rain, and sing for the moon, sing for the sun, sing for the joy when day is done. Oh, sing for the moon, sing for the sun, sing for the joy when day is done. Post-industrial techno-visions tell us how to think and feel. We ignore the corporate chatter and derail their grinding wheels, and sing for the moon, sing for the sun, sing for the joy when day is done. Oh, sing for the moon, sing for the sun, sing for the joy when day is done. Knowing that we have the power each of us in our own way, to make these moments something better. All great changes start that way. And sing for the moon, sing for the sun, sing for the joy when day is done. Oh, sing for the moon, sing for the sun, sing for the joy when day is done. So we turn the earth and keep the promise, rooted rivers, sun and air. Share the harvest and remember who we are and why we care. Sing for the moon, sing for the sun, sing for the joy when day is done. Oh, sing for the moon, sing for the sun, sing for the joy